Listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster here at Foster Web Marketing, here with the lovely Danielle Ruderman, here to give you, and Michael Kmademan, sorry. You'd think I'd know it by now. His Dutch last names. Mike Kmademan, of course, who is going to be doing our social media posts, and we've got a great webinar for you today, which is very timely. A team of our SEO people and smart people went up to Philadelphia a few weeks ago to it was sponsored by Google, and it was a local university all about local and how to improve your positioning local, and some big hitters were there, and there was about 64 other people there along with that, well, about 60 other people with us, and it was really all over the place. And what you guys should know is, I mean, Danielle, I felt pretty validated that we were doing a lot of the right things, and this is what we came away from that. I mean, from people at Google, from people at Sear, from people at Moz. There was other SEOs from all other different industries, some legal, auto dealerships, insurance. Oh, what's that? Marriott. Yeah, that was another one. And they were all there, you know, pretty much learning the same thing we were. I'm sure we picked up a couple of tips, but what we're going to go over today is really the big kahuna takeaways that we got from that conference. It was very valuable.
We got some great takeaways, and one of the reasons we wanted to talk about content strategy today was because we got some great content tips and great ways to think about your content that you can take away now and go implement yourselves. So of all the things that we heard, I think this was the best one for us to kick off with.
Yeah, and you know, it's nothing new really, and some of you may be disappointed because we're not going to, you know, we don't have like the magic purple pill here today. Danielle, you're going to give a great presentation.
We have some great ideas in here, Tom Foster.
But I'm just saying that it's nothing earth-shattering, but if you do these things, it will be earth-shattering for your business. So with that said, hey, I'm not trying to take away your thunder, Danielle. So, all right, let's just get into it because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. And anyway, let's go. And by the way, everybody, if you've got questions, as usual, just pop them in your little question bar. They're on the right side in the GoToMeeting app. And Michael will ask the questions towards the end. And, of course, post anything that you would want about on social media, as long as it's nice. Don't do mean things on social media. That's not nice.
I would never dream of
Not you, them. No, I know you won't. Well, that's not true, actually. Okay, let's get started here. Okay, Danielle, go ahead. Let's. What did we learn? What are the big takeaways?
Right. So we were there. It was an all-day advanced search conference, and we had some general takeaways that we wanted to share with you. And this is some of the things we've been saying, but we really want to reinforce these messages. I think one of the biggest things we hear consistently, and I have heard consistency at other conferences, is protect your brand. You know, all of you, you're basically small business owners. You want to be thinking about your law firm or your doctor office or your business as your brand. And everything that you do, you know, whether you're hiring somebody to do some link building, hiring someone to do some content or social media, whether you're putting a newspaper ad out, be thinking about your brand and how you want to project yourself to the world. And that should permeate every aspect of marketing.
And before you go on, what is your brand? I mean, your brand as a lawyer or a doctor is the name of the firm and your name in every iteration. What?
Your reputation.
Yeah, your reputation. And so, if you're a business owner, if you're, you know, a part owner, it's all the people that are known in that firm. So let's say, for instance, you're a partner and you've got 4 other partners. Not just you that's the brand or the name of the firm. If you're Phillips and Associates, it's everybody as a part of Phillips and Associates. So focus on your firm name and your brand, and make sure that you're doing those searches too when you're doing your vanity keyword searches that all you people do. Make sure that you're doing the biggest vanity keyword search, which is your own name, and see what you come up with, because that's what your prospective clients and leads are looking at too. Here's one of my favorite quotes from that show.
Yeah, this is from Will Reynolds from Sear Interactive,
yes.
The keynote address. He made a great point. He actually asked all of us in the room, so again, we've got 64 folks here in the room at this advanced conference, and he says, hey, everybody who has a PhD, raise your hand. And how many people raised their hand?
I was the only one that raised my hand. But I was lying.
So nobody. And he said, okay, so we're all sitting here, we're all search marketers, and we're all sitting here thinking that we can trick the 1,500 PhDs working at Google.
They're building cars that drive themselves, and so we're going to go beat them at SEO. So let's stop trying to do that and just do what they say.
Yeah, it kind of puts things in perspective that when we sit here talking about web strategies and tricks and content, we're really up against people who spend their education, their days, every day, just thinking about how to make search engines smarter and to provide better search results.
And to stop cheaters from
taking
advantage of Google. So just don't do it. And number 3 sums it up, right?
Right, absolutely. So instead of trying to look for the latest trick or get the edge, if you can align yourself with Google's goals, align your goals with Google's, that's what's going to put you ahead. Understand what they are trying to accomplish and align your own marketing and business strategy with them instead of looking for the tricks. So that's, really think about what you're up against here, and I think this kind of helps put what we're telling you in perspective. And, Will did a great job of talking about capturing people's hearts and minds, and this is something very important to keep in mind as you do your marketing and you produce your content, is that you want to make sure that you make people feel something. Even it may be hard for you to think about that as providing a service for a law firm, but you want people to care about what you do, and you want them to know that you care about your community and your clients. And sharing that in your content is going to help you capture people's hearts and minds. It's going to make it easier for people to review you online because they're going to want to talk about you because they know that you care. And I love this line here from Bill Turley. We went and visited him in San Diego and watched him deliver a CLE presentation. And he had some great quotes, and this is one that I really love. He was telling us, be serving and giving all the time. Don't be selling. And I think this is really something to keep in mind. We preach education-based marketing, and we are encouraging you to be serving and giving and give people information. Tell them what they need to know. Some people will go away with the information. They won't convert to clients, but other people will like your approach. They'll like that you care and that you're giving them something of value, and they will convert to a client. So throughout this presentation, I want you to keep this last quote in mind, that we want to have that serving and giving nature in our content and in our strategy. Okay. So what is your content strategy? So this is what we're going to focus on today. This is basically your plan to create content, deliver content, and manage your content. There's a lot that goes into this, and we're going to give you some tips on really rethinking how you're doing your content online. I also hope that this presentation will serve as a wake-up call to many of you who are not really thinking about content the right way.
Yeah, and this is you know who you are. Remember, and we're going to get into more of this, but who are you writing for? Make that decision, and this is what we're going to be talking about. Are you writing for other lawyers, or are you writing for clients? Because most of you are still writing for other lawyers. And, a lot of it perhaps is because you're afraid that you're going to be cast out from lawyer kingdom or something like that if you don't use big legalese and words like that. But pay attention to these next series of slides, because we're going to tell you what works and what Google wants you to do, not what your bar wants you to do or your lawyer friend wants you to do or your competitor wants you to do. Your competitor obviously wants you to fail. So if you keep doing what they're doing, that's what's going to happen. We're going to tell you how to do it right.
The first question we want to ask you is, as you're writing your content and putting things up on your website, are you just doing content to do it? And if you're asking questions like, oh, how long should my content be, or how many pieces a month do I have to get up there, you may be thinking about it the wrong way. And you really want to check yourself if you start having those thoughts that, oh, shoot, I need to sit down and pump out 10 pieces of content this week to meet my goals. That's really not the right way to look at content. And we're going to get a little more into this. What we want you to be thinking about, if you don't already, is that you need a strategy for this content.
Well, everything should begin with a strategy. I mean, you are coming up with some strategy when you're thinking of writing the blog post that you do once a month or whatever. There's some strategy there, but you need to think deeper into it, and you don't want to be changing your strategy every day. You don't win wars or battles that way by changing your strategy every hour of every day. You need to have a 3-month strategy, a 6-month strategy, a year-long strategy, maybe the few years down the road. But certainly think of what kind of clients cases, patients, business, whatever you're doing, what do I need to be thinking about to get more of them in here? And this is what you need to start thinking in terms of the way that Danielle is going to point this out.
So what we want you to do is look at each of the services that you provide. So if you're an attorney, each of the practice areas that you are looking for clients in. If you're a doctor, each of the types of procedures or types of patients that you're looking for each one, because they're not all the same. And I think this is really a limitation we find with some of our clients when we talk about content and SEO, is you don't think about your individual service areas or practice areas as unique and distinct, and that you are really attracting different kinds of people, different concerns and different problems to each one. So we want you to, for each of your practice areas, each of your services, ask yourself, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish by writing content and putting it on your website? We also want you to ask yourself, for that particular service, who is your perfect client? What do they look like? Where do they shop? What is their socioeconomic status? How much do you really understand about the kind of people who are going to come to you for that service? And then, what do you offer that is unique? And you'd be really surprised at how many people we ask this question and they can't answer it.
Well, and this is a great point, because the clients that we work with, we spend a great deal of time trying to understand what is different about you. And you have different interests that are in alignment with a lot of people out there. For instance, one of the clients that we talked to, he's a black belt in karate, and he's like some kind of ninja guy, right? You don't know that. He's trying to be a lawyer like everybody else. But if he really embraces his niche, embraces his passion, then other people will get in alignment with him about that. He's already got a niche that he can already market to. Jim Dodson's the bike guy. His passion is biking. And so he's out there on the, talking to the bike guys, and so he's getting business through that niche. It just depends upon what you're interested in. We just talked to another guy about, he's a big CrossFit. He's a big CrossFit dude. He's out there all the time. He's talking about he gets a ton of referrals from CrossFit. He's Persian. He's got all kinds of unique things about him, and you don't have a clue about that on his website or on his social media or any of that. Now, in contrast, if you look at my Facebook or if you look at my bio, you're going to see that what I'm interested in. Mountain biking, my family, music, things that are of interest to me. And so you need to think about that, because if you do that and you are passionate about those things, then you'll find people that are equally passionate about those things, and they will come to you. You will draw them to you. And so it's not about being the smartest lawyer. That's not what we're talking about right here. We're assuming that you're a good lawyer, or else you wouldn't be doing it. Being a good lawyer has nothing to do with this particular thing. We're assuming that you're a good lawyer, otherwise there's nothing to market. So you practice being a good lawyer and focus on, okay, what kind of perfect client, where do they live, like Danielle said, where do they live, what do they shop, what do they do, what do they read, what do they, what do they watch on TV?
About?
Right, what is their passion? Because this is what drives people. So what do you mean by this last little quote here, Danielle?
So this is an example. One of the books that was recommended at the local search conference was called Content Strategy for the Web. And this was one of the examples the author gave about if you're trying to encapsulate your content strategy in one sentence, this is an example of what it would look like. So here we've got curate an entertaining online reference guide to help stressed out women going through divorce become strong, independent individuals. So here you can see that we have somebody who's focusing on divorce for women. And look at that first word, curate. This is a really important one, because we're going to be talking about this throughout the presentation. Curate means that you're not just posting your own content. Curate means that you have gone out and found the best resources and the best voices to help your perfect client. You've gone out and gathered this information together, and you have curated it. You have given additional value to information that's widely available. So this tells you that you're going to have to focus on not just producing your own content, but going out there and finding additional resources to share. And then look at the words, you're curating an entertaining online reference guide. So here this statement tells you you're really practicing that education-based marketing that we preach, is that you want to give people reference information, and you want it to be entertaining. You want to lighten it up. Folks are going through some very difficult times. You want to provide good information, but also do it in a lighthearted way. And who are you helping? Who is your perfect client? Stressed out women going through divorce. So you know who your target audience is. That's encapsulated right here in this one sentence. And what is your goal? What is the end result of what you're trying to achieve? You want them to become strong, independent individuals. So all the information that you provide and the service you provide, that is your goal. So again, this is just an example of putting that strategy into one sentence, and it really says so much about what you're trying to do.
And you can take that and change words around for any particular practice or any business. You just need to think it through. What are you trying to accomplish? Who do you want there? And no matter what, you're trying to provide relevant, contextual, and as you say, entertaining. You know, you want it to be interesting to read. And so I can tell you right now that I've read a lot of legal documents, and I never want to read them again. So if you expect your people that don't know you from Adam, if you want to bore the crap out of them, then post a bunch of legalese on your website, which a lot of you do. And then you're like, I don't know why I'm not getting any business. Well, that's why, because you're not talking about anything exciting. Imagine going to, I don't know, a nuclear physicist. Let's go look at some nuclear physicist sites. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But is their stuff interesting? No. So why would you think that your stuff is interesting to a consumer that has never had to talk to a personal injury attorney or an immigration attorney or estate planning? When I go talk to my estate planning attorney, I am not listening to anything he's saying because it's so boring to me. I'm just waiting for it to be over. So, and that's just, it's true. It's true. I just sign the documents and move on, which is probably what most of you want. But anyway, be interesting and relevant, except for Dave Freeze. Dave Freeze is the most entertaining estate planning stuff out there. Just put that in.
So our recommendation really comes down to, if you're really focused on churning out that content, we want you to slow down. And it's okay to write less content if you can write better content. And we're going to give you some great ideas for doing this better content. We also want you to take a look at all the content that's already on your website. What do you already have out there? Do you have outdated information? Did you post about seatbelt laws in Texas in 1998? Do you have over-optimized content, which means you were going bonkers a few years ago with keyword stuffing and links, and you just have content that's rife with hyperlinks? You want to make sure that you clean that up. It's a bad user experience, and it's not going to send good signals to the search engines. What about irrelevant content? Were you posting things that weren't necessarily relevant to your practice and your local area just to get content up there? You need to find a way to repurpose that or just get rid of it. So make sure that all the information on your site is up to date, interesting, and really relevant to what you do. And as you look at whether you're creating a new piece of content or whether you're cleaning up your website, here's what you want to think about. Does this piece of content have a purpose? What do I expect people to get from this? And what is my audience? Again, that's your perfect client. So think about purpose and audience each time you write a piece of content, and that's going to really tie you back to your content strategy. Just keep this in mind for each piece that you do on your site.
Hey guys, also too, I mean, you're all lawyers, and you have a strategy. No matter what kind of law you practice, you have a strategy that you're coming up with, whether you're going to be taking a case to trial or your ultimate is to provide someone with a will. You need to find out information about, and discovery about what it's going to take to win that case. That's what we're telling you here, is that we're telling you the pieces, the elements that you need to win your overall marketing challenge. And it's a challenge for everybody. But this, if you start thinking this way and you start using these building pieces, this is how you get to your goals ultimately.
And who knows good content? It's your clients, the people that are coming into your office every day and asking you questions and talking to you and sharing their concerns with you.
Yeah, I mean, and we say this, we've said this for years, is that your best content comes from your existing clients. Your best content comes from your experience. Most of you are experienced attorneys or doctors or business owners, and you've been doing it, 5, 10, 15, 20 odd years. That's all that wisdom, all that experience of people asking you questions. And a lot of them are the same questions over and over again. I mean, how long have we been doing this and people still ask, what's a page title, And we're like, you don't know what a page title is? Or what is a meta description? Really? You don't know what that is? And so it's the same questions over and over again. And just because you asked that or answered that question 20 years ago, that's not the last time that question is going to be answered or asked. And so you want to continue to put those frequent questions out there in a multitude of ways. A lot of it can be done like, here's the question that you're asking, but here's the question that you really should be asking. And that's a Dave Freese trick. But yeah, your clients will tell you everything. And one big point is, and I think that you talk about this maybe in a minute, but don't wait until afterwards to start asking them questions. You going to talk about that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the point we want to make here is don't assume that you know everything that clients want. Ask them and actually listen and pay attention to how they ask the question. We recently had somebody submit a question to us based on a blog on our website, and the way that they asked the question, the words that they used, the confusion they had after reading the article was really telling. So we want to make sure that you understand how people ask questions and what they want to know. So don't just put things back in your own words. Use the language that your clients use when they talk to you. That's really going to help you provide good content. And listen to how you're answering the question in person. You're not going to probably use a lot of legalese. See how you answer the question and do the same thing online. Because if one person is asking you something or concerned about something in person, there's probably 10, 15, 20, 30 people with the exact same concern or the exact same question who are out there browsing online looking for answers.
I mean, this one of ours is just a little sidebar is, our web safe colors. That is a very common question. And does that get us clients? Maybe. But it's a common question that people ask all the time. And so remember that. We have different kinds of questions. Everyone has different kinds of questions in all areas of practice. If you don't know, go look at some other law firms that are doing well on an SEO standpoint and see if they've got a frequently asked question. Not on vanity keywords and stuff like that, but see if they've got a frequently asked questions section. Take a look at some of our clients. Look at their frequently asked questions to get some ideas.
And as you're talking to clients, what can you learn from them? Start paying attention to their emotions. What are they feeling? Because you can speak to those emotions. We know you may feel frightened or concerned. We may know you may be angry. You'll see those emotions, and you can write to that in your marketing. What are their motivations? What really motivates them? What are their fears, their concerns? What questions do they have? What's the politics behind it all? You may be surprised that people have a lot of interesting underlying motivations to what they do and what they care about. Pay attention to all of these things and gear your marketing towards what people are saying to you when they're looking to hire an attorney or doctor, when they're in that evaluation phase. And this last point on the slide is a really good one. You want to pay attention to what they say before they hire you. These are the common concerns that other people looking for your types of service are going to have. Don't wait until after they've hired you to start asking these questions, because you want to market to those people who have the same concerns before they've signed on. Yeah, and also consider this about the clients that you don't want any more of. What are it works the other way too. What are those questions that those guys ask where you're like, I'm sure you've had those, I never want a client like that again. After you've been through something with them, you'll scream at your staff and say, no more of those kinds of people. Well, what are those kinds of people? Going through this list, what are their emotions, motivations, fears, concerns, questions, politics? And you want to have the good and the bad. And so market to the good and stop marketing to the bad. Or you can actually address, I think one of our red flags is when people are overly concerned about price when they're talking to us in the sales stage. So we actually talk in our marketing about we're not the cheapest game in town. If that's what you're after, you can go somewhere else. Yep. So we keep those people from coming to us because they understand that that's not what they're going to get. So you can actually put content out there that will keep those people you don't want from finding you. So keep that in mind. This kind of content goes both ways. You can attract and you can repel. Well, yeah, or just that you're not available to them. But yeah, I guess repel is, we don't want you. I wouldn't do that, but. All right, so we've talked about getting all this information from clients, listening to them. Now, who's actually going to sit down and write this content for you? For many of you, you're do-it-yourselfers, you're writing it yourself, but some of you are very busy and you are outsourcing your content, either to somebody in the office or perhaps to another country, or perhaps to a friendly millennial. Hey, they're not all bad. Mike, you're good. You're okay. We're beating it out of you. We're trying to make the point that these people are not, you got to keep in mind if you're outsourcing your content, they're not you. They don't have your subject matter expertise. You can't just turn other people loose to write with great knowledge and passion about what you do. So this is very important to keep in mind. There's nothing wrong with having other people write your content, but you need to be engaged and you need to be involved. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we hear, oh, we're going to get an intern to write, or my nephew, or my wife, or we've heard it all. And listen, it is not
that it's wrong to have them write your content for you, but as Danielle said, make sure that they're writing in your voice and not making you look like an idiot.
We have had recent conversations with people. They've hired a writer and said, well, have you read what they've written? Well, no, I don't really have the time. Well, let's go look at it because it's not that good. Is this really out there about your brand?
And that good point, Danielle. It's your brand. And remember that. Every piece of content that goes out on your website or anywhere is a contributor to your brand. And so if you have people posting on your behalf and answering questions on Avo, or if you have people doing your social media for you, make sure that you're checking that stuff over and over again. It's not just a one-time check. I mean, we see it all the time. And even, you know, people make honest mistakes. They didn't know that that's what they were not supposed to do, especially if you're doing multiple kinds of practice and the laws are weird and you're in a you know, if you're a personal injury guy in Kentucky, the laws are strict. You got to make sure that they're not getting you in trouble with the bar. So pay attention, and to this point, you are the expert.
Absolutely. Keep in mind that you're the one who knows everything. You understand your clients. You understand the law or medicine or whatever your practice is. So make sure that you make yourself available, you and your team, you and the other subject matter experts in your office, in your business. Make them available to your writer. Develop a good relationship with the people producing your content, and do this on a regular basis. Again, it's great to do a big hoorah effort and talk to the writer one time and think everything's going to be copacetic, but you need to make this a regular occurrence. You need to be feeding them good quality information on a regular basis. And then, you're not done, are you?
Well, and also, you know, like think about, I mean, most people probably have kids. You didn't like just tell your kids how to do their whole life when they were first born. It's not how it works. You got to tell them over, right. You got to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Some people never learn.
And then once the writer has actually produced content for you, you need to sit down and read it. Somebody who understands the subject needs to sit down and read that content always. Make this a regular part of your marketing. And again, this is why we encourage you to do less. You know, we hear a lot of complaints that people are busy. Don't write as much content. Just write better content and monitor it more. Give more feedback to whoever's writing for you. Really take ownership of what you're doing. All right, now's the fun part, Tom, right? Got some great examples, cool content. So these are going to be some content tips and ideas that you can take away and start doing now. You know, think about your strategy, but then here's some different ways to produce content that's more than just writing a blog post. The first one, and we mentioned questions that clients have earlier, so your frequently asked questions. This is a really underused type of content. So your clients are always asking you questions. Make sure you answer them online. And please keep in mind that one sentence does not an answer make. Believe it or not, we see this more than I'd like. One or two sentences answering an FAQ. That's not really helpful to people, and it's not really helpful for the search engines. So feel free to go into a little more depth, provide some context. You know, we want to see more words on the page than just that one sentence answering the question.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about earlier. This is the easiest one to do, is just creating frequently asked questions, and I can't tell you how many times. And listen, we're not telling you stuff just to BS you. These are tried and true examples. I've been doing this for 16 years. Before Al Gore invented the web, I've been doing this marketing stuff for 1 billion years. It's just a different kind of, you know, vehicle to communicate on the web. But no matter what, people want to hear frequently asked questions. Back in the old days, maybe you put frequently asked questions in your brochure that you would hand out. These are the typical questions that people ask. Look at the stuff that you've looked at in marketing materials in your past, the doctor's office or wherever. This is no different. It just happens to be online, and you can go crazy with it. The best thing about it is, and oh my gosh, you know, the people that are doing well, they thrive on this. They get excited, like Andrew Schneider, Dr. Schneider down in Houston. Man, he puts up more content every day than anybody I know, because he gets so excited about his day and what he hears about during the day, right? Same with Vuk. Vuk down at DB Attorneys, you'll hear a new thing from a client, that they'll say something, he'll go write it down, and then he'll put up a piece of content later on. Bill Turley, the guy that we talked about earlier, hey, these are bigwig lawyers just like you guys. They're just as busy as you. Okay, they have families too. They're running law practices. They got every excuse like you do, but they do it. And that's why they're winning, and that's why they're getting the big cases, and you guys aren't, because they're taking the time to do these things. And listen, it took Vuk a long time to get on board too. And Vuk, if you're listening, you know the deal. But it took him a long time to understand how to do content. So you can jump ahead by paying attention to what we're telling you right now, because this stuff works. Another huge one.
Video FAQs. So this is an easy one that you can do yourself. You know, we definitely encourage you, if you have not yet, get comfortable with video. Get comfortable in front of the camera. Find someone locally to help you or learn to shoot yourself. But video FAQs, this is an easy, casual way to answer a specific question on camera. You can show your personality. People can get to know you by seeing you. And all you need to do is transcribe your answer, make sure you edit it, and then get it up on your site and push it out to YouTube. And keep in mind that YouTube is still the #2 search engine, so you want to make sure you're taking advantage of it and getting your content out there.
Okay, now, remember, okay, so this is like a bonus round. I mean, it's a 2 for special, right? I mean, you got, it's mine. So you got, we're good, we're at 1:30. All right, so you've got your video as content on your website, and then you also have that same video out on YouTube, a completely different world. And so, and then if you post that video to social media, you hit them all different ways. The #1 attention thing is video. #2 is image. 3 is just text. So you have this capability, and certainly if you're a client of ours, which most of you are, you can easily do this with DSS with video. Post your own videos, and you're going to talk about a great example later on. Okay. But this is a great thing that Dave Fries does, and we actually picked up on it too, but it's providing questions to answers that people ask, but then say, people that often ask this question really have this question in mind, or people that ask this kind of question also want to know this. And he'll even put a link to it or give you a topic in his video, and for sure people go and search for that topic that he suggests. And guess what? He comes up for it because he's thought about this in his what? His strategy. Okay? All of this is part of this overall strategy. And yes, you can create a frequently asked question that is text-based and then go shoot a video for it. Just don't, replicate the words word for word. Have something different. Make those, and once again, make those videos interesting and relevant. You don't need to be Cecil B. DeMille or Steven Spielberg to make videos. Don't wait for the perfect video. Get content out there. It doesn't need to be perfect. Lord knows, every day I look back at videos we just did, a year ago or 6 months ago, and I'm horribly embarrassed, but they work, so we keep them out there. Danielle's the one that always deletes her videos, not me.
All right, another way to create content, check local forums. Have you tried looking around at the chat rooms and forums in your area or that are relevant to what you do? You may be surprised that there are people out there asking questions, and you may be able to either just get content ideas by seeing the questions people have, or you can get out there and be social yourself and help them and answer those questions. So you can answer, if you do have good content on your website, you can provide a link. But remember, don't be salesy. If you're going to interact in local forums and answer questions, really try to be helpful. Remember how we told about don't be selling all the time, be helpful, be genuine. So this really applies here. Try to help people, and that's going to pay you back.
Can we just back up one slide to the video thing? I just want to make one more point, because this really goes out to Jerry Oginski, who's one of our clients and a great lawyer that practices medical malpractice in New York, which is a kind of a unique specialty nowadays, as most of you know. And Jerry, if you don't know Jerry Oginski, I encourage you to go look him up. He's at the Lawyers Video Studio as well, and he produces lawyer videos all across the country. Yes, he is a competitor, but he's also a client and a good friend. And if you want to know how a lawyer does video consistently, very well, that gets him business and clients, Jerry Oginski's the guy. And so if you want to hear it directly from a lawyer, he's a guy that you can talk to about how he does it. I just wanted to say that because out of all the lawyers out there that we work with, or anybody that I've known that does genuine, ethical, relevant, contextual-based videos, Jerry's the guy. He's almost as good as us. All right, let's go back to the forum, because I wanted to make a comment about that. We're talking about forums like Abo. Would you use that as a forum? Danielle, is that a good example? Okay, so Abo, which everybody knows, or lawyers know at least, and doctors. Isn't it a portal for doctors too? Yeah. So you can get on there and answer questions And we know a lot of our clients are getting leads and cases and clients from answering AVO questions. People go to AVO because it's pretty much the #1 directory now, and they'll post their questions. And if you are involved, and there's different levels that you can get to AVO, yes, they're a money-making business, so you can pay for better access and all that stuff. That's one of the I don't want to call them a vendor, but I would just say kind of a partner that we agree with what they do, and you should definitely contribute to AVO. What are some other legal forums? You know any? We have to put together a resource list to send you to let you guys know. But any other legal forums or any forums that you guys write locally to, of course, that you guys find of value, you should let us know so we can let everyone else know, because these can help everyone.
But do a search, you know, the type of service that you provide, do a search plus the word forum and see what comes up. You may be surprised that there are some forums or boards in your area, in your state even, that where people are asking questions and you can help, or like I said, just get content ideas.
Okay. This is great. It's one of my favorite things. That is, if this is the purple pill, the secret weapon, the silver bullet. Go ahead, Daniel.
So, news breaks, right? You get news stories. There are car accidents. People get divorced. There are medical claims, you know, medical malpractice suits that come out. There's always news breaking about the things that you do.
Priests, pedophiles going after kids, all this
wonderful
stuff.
Thing.
Yes.
News.
Planes disappearing.
So what we see, unfortunately, is that we see clients trying to take advantage of this breaking news. Unfortunately, the way they do it is not what we would recommend. We are still seeing people cutting and pasting articles from CNN or from other news sites and just putting it right on their site, or they're just basically rehashing the story in their own words. That's really not adding anything of value to the conversation. Remember, if you're curating information, and that means that you want to provide value to something that's already out there. So make sure that, remember, you are the expert. Offer your expertise or opinion about the story, about what just happened. Have some personality. Relate it back to what you do, and highlight similar cases that you have handled. This is a great way to capitalize on news that's trending in your area. And remember, time is of the essence. If a news story is broken, don't sit on it. Don't be writing about old news. Really jump on it and have something of value and something interesting to say. Have your own take on it.
Yep, and you know, you can attach yourself to this and you will get leads. This works. We've seen it happen over and over again. Clients that connect themselves to breaking news or things that people are chattering about are getting them the business, even if you're not right there. Damian Millard, a couple years ago, this is one of the first breaking news that we did years ago when we had our brand new studio. And this is when the Penn State sex scandal broke, and Damian Millard down there in Sarasota, Florida, far away from Pennsylvania, handles sex abuse cases. And he did well, with our help, he just said, yes, do it. And we ended up doing a video and news and blog posts and library articles out there all within like 24 hours. And he ended up getting a giant case from somebody local to him whose children were in a private school, a well-known private school, and had told mom that these things were happening, but she was afraid to come forward because it was a well-known private school. But when this thing happened at Penn State, she was like, wait a minute, this stuff's happening everywhere. I wonder if I should check into it further. What she did, and then she found Damien and signed him on, and then they're working on that case. It's ongoing. But it's a big case. And anyway, so the point is that there's so many things that you can attach yourself to. I mean, another thing is just another recent example, and then I'll shut up, Daniel, I promise. Captain Phillips, okay? So Captain Phillips is a big movie, Tom Hanks movie that came out last year, and our client Brian Beckham is representing the crew of the Captain Phillips case. If you want to go check out VB Attorneys, you can go check it out, find out more information about what he's doing there, and certainly Brian would love to talk about it, I'm sure. But the point is that as soon as the movie came out, or right before the movie came out, he was contacted by Good Morning America, and he was on TV, and then we got him set up with several other interviews. And the point is that people react to what's going on right then. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you do that area of law, especially like divorce, family law, bankruptcy law, another great place to check is TMZ. That's one of my favorite resources for those kinds of things, because celebrities are always in trouble, for bankruptcy or divorce or whatever. So check that out. What was the recent thing I was just seeing? I just caught a glimpse of it at Justin Bieber and his depositions blasted all over the internet. I mean, and what he's saying on there, he doesn't really understand what he's in for. But that's breaking news, because who's not interested in Justin Bieber? I know that Michael is. Mike loves Justin Bieber. He's got posters in his office and everything. So I know he's all over that. But we'll save that for after this call, where you can update me on what's going on.
Well, as long as you can tie that Justin Bieber case back to something relevant that you do.
Right.
The biggest mistake you can make is jump on every breaking news story that has nothing to do with your services. So be careful, because you're just going to drive a bunch of junky traffic to your website. Make sure that it is something that you can, a story that you can leverage.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, case results. This is my new favorite type of content. We are doing this more and more for our own clients. You want to tell a story about the people that you have already helped. So you can go back now, and there may be many cases you haven't written about, but you can go back and write about them. And when we propose this idea to clients, we get a lot of pushback. People are worried about names and details that they need to keep confidential, and that's fine. You can still write a case result or a case study about that situation. Because remember, we want you to tell a story. We want you to connect with people's hearts and minds.
Yeah, we don't care about money. That's the other thing, too, is that most lawyers, the first thing they put on there is how much money they got for the client. That's only going to speak to a certain caliber or a certain level of client. You have to think about that. Going back to our perfect client exercise or the strategy when you're thinking about your perfect client. Do your perfect clients care about the money? I mean, they all do to a certain degree. But is that really why they came to you? Because, all these, six-figure case results? You have to think about that for real. And, automotive case settled for $500,000. That is not a case result. Okay, that is the last end result. That is not the story. All right, people read books and read magazines and watch television because of the story. They want to be told a story. There's so many lawyer shows out there because people love to hear lawyer stories and the battles in the courtroom.
Yeah, tell them why the person came to you, what they were concerned about when they came there, what you initially talked about. Take the reader through the course of the case. Tell them as much as you can. You can change details, of course, if you need to keep things confidential. But really walk through that case and tell the whole story. And why this is such great content? It's because you are naturally going to use all the appropriate keywords and search terms that people are going to search for. You don't have to force it.
That's a great point. And going back to Jerry's got a lot of great videos out there, and I encourage you guys to go check out his channel on YouTube, because he's got a bunch of great stories about what he's gone through. And it's just from a lawyer perspective. And it's funny, and Jerry's just being himself. You either like Jerry or you don't like Jerry, and that's he's already defining his perfect client by then. If you're not going to like me, I don't want to work with you anyway. And that's back and forth. But remember that. And so if you're looking for some inspiration, I recommend that you go check out Jerry Oginski's videos, because he does a great job of telling a story. So anyway, it's really the story of the case, not the case result itself. It's the story of the case.
Right. Think about it as a case study. You really are providing more details. And remember, you're not providing these details to your peers. You're providing them to other people in a similar situation. And this is a great time. Remember, Tom was talking about your interests and what makes you different and what makes you unique. This is a great time to showcase that or include things like that. You may have taken the case because the mother reminded you of somebody, or because you care about motorcycle safety. There may be personal reasons that you took it or you enjoyed it, or things that you learned. Share that kind of information. It really humanizes you, and it helps people get to know you and feel comfortable with you and comfortable hiring you.
You guys are getting a lot. Steve, thank you for this, the Helper Reporter resource. We're going to put all these resources together for everybody, and we're going to go through these questions. But I'm just going to throw this in because it's a great thing. Steve Richardson just posted up there, Helper Reporter, Haro, right? HARO.com. That's Help a Reporter Out, isn't that what it is?
helpareporter.com.
All right, well, okay. All right, well, anyway, we'll get the right link worked out, but we'll send it to you guys. But, hey, reporters are looking for good content too, right? And we're going to talk about this in a minute. But you want to be able to reach, get your information out to reporters. They're looking for good stuff. So there are tons of resources out there that can help get your content out there. So thank you for the suggestion there, Steve. Video testimonials.
Another great type of content, right, Jerry?
Yep.
And this is a really easy one. Again, we wanted to give you ideas that you don't need to go contact a professional for. This is something you can shoot yourself. So let's say you've got a happy client. They're in your office. You're, thanking them for the last time. Get out your video and take a quick video of them, even if you're just using your iPhone, right, Tom? It takes pretty good videos. And see if they're willing to give you a testimonial through the video, because this is a great way. You want to use other people's words to tell the world how great you are, because people are going to believe that so much more than just you talking about how great you are on your website. Other people will talk about their experience, talk about how you helped them, and that is very compelling content. And they can see the actual person leaving the word. It's even better than a written testimonial. And what do you do with this? Take that video, get it up on YouTube, transcribe what the person said, make sure you edit it because the transcription is often not that good, but then get that content out on YouTube. And this was a great example that we heard at the conference where this particular search company was working with a doctor who every time he has a happy patient, he takes a video.
On his iPhone.
Yeah, he takes a video on his iPhone. He uploads it to YouTube as a private video. Then his marketing team goes in and they transcribe it, they add the optimization, and they publish it to YouTube. And he has, over 70 testimonial videos out on YouTube? So guess what? When people start searching for a doctor in their local market, who's going to dwarf everybody else with fabulous, happy clients, real clients talking about how great he is? Wow, that's compelling content.
And it's just a quick little, video from your iPhone. And as Danielle said, your iPhone and most phones today take excellent video and great little shots. I'm not saying, do everything with that. But for the testimonials, it's very real and very genuine. And people are used to seeing that realness on YouTube, and it's almost, if it's too staged, it doesn't have as much credibility. And so I'm a big believer in getting those great little handheld testimonials and getting them up there. It's better to get 70 not so perfect testimonials than one up quick, than one testimonial that takes you a year to get somebody in your office. And it's not a one-shot thing either. Remember that everything that we're telling you here is not a one-time thing. This is just ongoing. You need to be doing this constantly. You need to feed, you need to fuel the car, man. This is gas in the car, and this is what you need to be doing.
Yeah, this is the case studies, case results, and video testimonials. These are great ones to add to your client process. What you do is you're checking people out, and when you're finishing up with them, make this part of your regular process. Write a case study about them and get a video testimonial. You try to do that for everybody, and over time you'll eventually build up a great library of information and some great online content.
Oh, this is a great idea.
Right. So what you can do is sponsor a college scholarship, even if it's just $1,000 to $2,000, and you don't want to pick a specific school. You just want to make it a more generic scholarship, and we'll explain why. You want to create a page on your website talking about the fact, a nice landing page that you're going to be giving away this scholarship and include all the information. And of course, after the scholarship's awarded, you can do another post and do more, social media and more content on your site about you awarding that scholarship to a deserving student. And what can you do now? You can now contact the local media to let them know that you have a scholarship available, and they may be willing to cover that in the local publications. And then after you award it, you can again contact the media to cover that, and you may actually get some play from there. Now, one of the reasons this works so well is because if you have a scholarship available, and again, it's not to a specific school, you may actually attract links from different high schools in your area, universities, private schools, and scholarship directories. And these are very high-quality links from EDU domains, and they're going to spread your brand awareness and get you traffic and interest from your community. So this is a really good way. You can do this once a year, once a quarter, however often, but again, a great way to spread the word and help your community.
Okay, and we've got a couple clients that do this. Jeffrey Meldon down there in Gainesville, who's a PI, DUI attorney, great guy, been with us a long time, has been doing scholarships before there was an internet. And he does high school scholarships and lots of different things. And he just did that because he's a good guy. And as a result, though, he gets a ton of traffic because of that. And it's not only like people coming there to find out about the scholarship, but also when he grants the scholarship, when he gives it, he does the big check, and he's got media there, and they all come. And he does a lot of great things. He's got his own radio show, and I know a couple of clients do that stuff. People that think out of the box and start doing these things and stay away from vanity keywords and I want to be on page 1 for the entire planet, personal injury attorney. Get away from that stuff and start thinking like this. This is strategic thinking, and this is what separates the winners from the losers. If you start doing stuff like this is not hard to do, right? And it's, pay it forward. You're helping people out. People will never forget you if you gave them a scholarship. They will never forget you for that. Not only the kid that you gave it to, but the parents involved, the school involved, the community involved. And, as everybody knows, if you're a PI attorney, you might have a bad rap. I mean, a lot of them do. And so this is a way to show the community that you're just not, all about yourself. You're driving around your Lexus, your Bentley, or whatever. Hey, but I'm also giving back.
Remember, we said in the beginning of the presentation, that first slide about our takeaways, it was capturing people's hearts and minds. And this is how you do it, by actually caring about.
Yep, and I'll say, one of the most successful, biggest law firms that we work with, Hupy and Abraham, which are in 3 states, probably the biggest in volume and in terms of lawyers and staff and all that stuff, but they are also the biggest in community involvement and charity giveaways. I'm not going to tell you how much they do. I don't know the breadth of it, but they are involved in everything. So it doesn't matter. I mean, they're the biggest one, and they give the most back, and they're very genuine about it. Michael Hupy is very genuine about the community. And we
went out to dinner with Michael Hupy, and everybody in the restaurant knew him. He was very well regarded. People were thanking him. It was just a great experience. You can tell that he cares about his community, and that has made him successful. Attorney
Hupy is just revered by the entire community in Milwaukee, motorcycle riders, you name it. And we saw it ourselves. And he's a great guy, and a great partnership with Jason Abraham and Michael Hupy, the way they pull that all together, and of course Jill that runs all their marketing for them, that really pulls it all out and puts it together. Yeah. Okay.
This is one that I really, really like, the Ego Bait interviews. It's a great little title, Ego Bait. You're going to remember that. So what we want you to do here is reach out to people in your community. You've got local celebrities. You have respected professionals. You've got community advocates. Start thinking about who in your area you could interview and talk to and get content for your site. And I'll give you an example here. A divorce lawyer could profile people who help after a divorce. So if you're working with women, for example, we gave the example earlier, you may sometimes recommend that they see a tax advisor or a personal trainer, or they may be looking for to refresh themselves with plastic surgery. They may need help with the kids and a daycare provider. Who are the people in your community who have a similar clients that they're helping out? Could you reach out to them? And what you want to do is think about who can you relate their expertise, can you relate their expertise and passions back to what it is that you do? And if you can, then ask if you can interview that person. Say, hey, we have some common interests. I think that what you have to share would be really helpful to my clients. I'd love to talk to you. Write up a nice article on your website about them, include some pictures, talk about their business, really play them up and include their expertise. And that's why we call it Ego Bait, because it's very appealing to other people when you want to profile them and showcase what they're good at. And you know what this does? Now you've got some great content on your website that's really helping people, but they will help you spread the word now, because give them the link and they'll share it on social media. They'll want their friends and their colleagues and their clients to see it, and they'll help you. They'll help spread your word throughout their community, which is also your community, about what you do.
This is great. This is another secret weapon. And so the real smart lawyers are doing this kind of stuff, interviewing other people. Like Jim Dodson, interview a bike shop owner, right? Establishing those relationships. That is relevancy to what he's doing. Ben Glass is great at doing this, great at interviewing different people in his community. And by the way, most people that are in Ben Glass's mastermind group or coaching, they get a lot of this stuff, and a lot of them are doing it. And I think some of them are on this call, but as you know, Ben has been talking about doing this kind of stuff for years. And, he interviews anybody local to him about their business As a result, they refer their clients to Ben. So think out of the box. Stop thinking page 1 of Google for those vanity keywords. Think of this kind of stuff. And this pays for itself way longer and is more foundational than dealing with Google and their algorithm changes. Because no matter what Google does, even if Google rolls up tomorrow, this won't change. You'll be ever connected to these relationships.
Yep, relationship building in your community is what's going to protect you online. Another idea is to profile your clients. And this may depend on the type of business you do. It may be tougher for some of you. But if you're in the kind of business where the clients are going to be more willing to share their story, we talked about the case studies where you're writing about your perspective on the case, but the clients may be willing to be interviewed about working with you. They may want to tell their side of the story. And this is a time you can talk more about them and what they went through, and you can include pictures. And again, send them the link when the story's done, and they'll be excited about it, about getting to share their story. They'll tell their friends and family about it, and they'll probably post it on social media. So they're going to get excited and help, again, spread your brand and talk about you to their community.
Yeah, and just another one thrown in here is don't forget about your own staff that could have some status. BB attorneys with, and forgive me, I don't remember his name, but their new attorney that because of his relationships, they got that big Baylor case. I can't remember his name, but it's because of him being a part of that firm and because of those relationships that he's established. And he's a well-known football player back in the day. So anyway, be expansive in your thinking when it comes to this. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to interview people. It doesn't need to be 6 hours long. Just a 5-10 minute interview is all we're talking about. Oh, this is important.
Right. Now is the time, if you haven't already done this, is to sit down and take a look at your local market. Do some research and see what media is out there. What local papers do you have? What radio, magazines, local websites? And again, you really want to focus on the local. And you want to start creating a media list for yourself. Create a contact list. And when you make this list, include in it what types of content they publish. Try to get to know these different outlets and kind of what they're looking for and what they're known for. Because later on, when you have a hot story break or you're involved in a really interesting case or you have something cool to share, you're going to want to know where to go to offer the content. And when you do this, you want to focus on how you can help these media outlets if you do have an interesting story. Don't make it all about you and spreading your word, but how can you help them?
Yeah, and this is what you want to contact your media list with. You've got anything that is interesting. Don't kill them with every single thing. I got another case. Be very careful about how you use, call these guys or call these people, and don't make it self-serving. It's really to help them out. Here's a good story if you're interested in it. Be a little bit, like that. Don't be. Here's another story about how great I am. Nobody wants to hear that stuff. All right. This is a big one.
Yeah. So you're writing all this content. Make sure you try to enhance your content with real branded photos instead of stock imagery. We're always telling you to add pictures and make things more visual, but don't rely too much on that stock imagery. And this is a really interesting study. We don't have time to look at it now, but we're going to send these links out afterwards. And check out this study that was done showing that a company that replaced the stock image with branded images for their business and some of their people in the image improved conversion on their page by 45%. This is a really interesting study, so don't be afraid to use real people in your pictures, real people from your office, real images from your building and from the interior of your office. Again, it's all about your branding and making this a personal experience and letting people get to know you through your content.
Right. But don't put pictures of your conference room or your law library, please, or your scales of justice or any of that kind of stuff. We're talking about personal pictures. The company that did this, that saw this increase, is because they used real pictures of what they were doing, like the moving crew itself and a picture of the house that they were moving into. So, think about that. Think about you in action.
And here's a little bonus, and again, you'll get this link when we send this out. If you need even more ideas for content, here's 100 ideas. This is a link that was shared with us at the conference, and we're going to go ahead and share it with you, so I think you'll enjoy this post. And then the last, we want to just give you some closing thoughts here. Content is not a commodity. It is not something bought, sold, and traded. Please don't treat it like one. Start thinking about it as a strategic marketing tool that you can use and a way to capture people's hearts and minds. It's not just something you can outsource and forget about.
And there's a big talk about why author tags exist, and there's lots of debate in the search world and the online world. And even in our own company, we debate about this. We have tons of very heated debates here at Foster Web Marketing, right, Danielle? Yes. And so, and something that you need to understand is, why is Google using author tags, and why are they putting your picture right next to the content? That is not for SEO. That's not why they're doing that. They want you to take ownership of your own content. So make sure that when you are adding content, that you believe in what you're adding, that it is written or at least edited by you, that it is who you are, because Google's attaching your name to that content. And, well, as long as you got your author tag set up. But you want to make sure that you use those author tags, but don't do it for just junk. And that's Danielle's point. It's not a commodity. Don't just throw it up there. Don't just buy content. It is what it is. You represented online. Your content is what represents you, your brand.
Amen.
Amen, sister.
And then as we close out here, you do have a personality. You're different from everybody else. We all are. Please don't be afraid to show that online. That's how you can make your content interesting. Share your opinion. Share your sense of humor. Be yourself. Don't try to be Mr. Lawyer Guy when you're writing, or Mr. Lawyer Girl, or Miss Doctor.
Right.
Really show who you are and be passionate about what you do. That's going to go put you heads and shoulders above everybody else writing all that boring crap that they're putting online.
We have literally hundreds and hundreds of clients, and I don't remember what they all do for practice areas, like all of their practice areas, but I do remember unique things about them. Like, I mean, Rick Shapiro has been a client of ours for 1,000 years, since before I was born. And I know what practice areas does, of course, but one thing that I do remember about Rick Shapiro, besides that he's a great lawyer, is that he's an inventor, and he invents things, and he's got all these cool little inventions that he does. I don't think he plays that enough on his website. He should. But, I mean, that's something that's unique. We got another guy like I was talking about, who's a karate guy. We got all these different. Don't be afraid to show your personality out there. People will attach themselves. You think that you've got some weird, obscure niche? I guarantee there's thousands of people that love what you do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Remember, this marketing is all about human beings. You're a human being trying to connect to other human beings. So do it on a personal level and just be yourself. And that leads us to another fantastic quote that I really love by attorney Bill Turley. And this was another line from when we were out visiting him. And he says, this is his to all of you, "I'm giving you permission to be yourself. The real you is good enough. Speak from your gut." That's how people make decisions, from their gut. They'll know if you're being honest or if you're trying to sell them.
And that's directly from a CLE that he did about ethical marketing. And Bill Turley is a great guy, a great client that pulled himself up from the ashes through content marketing, through putting real content out there that he is passionate about. So, and that's another good guy to talk to, San Diego attorney Bill Turley. He was the president of his local bar, and he's just a great guy to talk to, and more than willing to help other lawyers out.
So you have permission to be yourself. Go be interesting.
Yeah, be smart and interesting. Okay, so we got some questions here. I know I answered a couple of them, but let's bust through them, Michael. Give me a good one.
Okay, first question. Does deleting content negatively affect the website? That was asked by a couple of people, but the first person to do it was Kia Bartlett, so thank you, Kia.
Thank you,
right.
Kia.
As you're going through and auditing your content and you want to look at things to delete, don't go nuts and delete a whole bunch of things at once. You want to take a look and see if that content is actually getting you traffic. So make use of Google Analytics while you're doing this. And if you do have some content you're not proud of that's getting traffic, this is a good time to improve it. You don't need to delete the page. You can just make it better. If you are going to delete content, do it gradually and make sure that you redirect it to other relevant pages. So get those 301 redirects in place, and if you're using DSS, you can do that through DSS, put a redirect into an appropriate page.
Yeah. All right, another question that we have is, no one seems to be reading our online articles. How can we change that? And also, it seems like we've answered all possible FAQs. Where can we go to find more ideas?
Well, I'm going to answer the last part first about the FAQs. If you answered everything possible out there, go back and take a look at what you've written. If it's been out there for a little while, you may be able to enhance it. You may be able to add more resources. You can always make your content better. Don't think, oh, I've answered that question, I'm done. Always go back and look if you can add more information or more relevant information to what you've done. And perhaps you need to start promoting it. Perhaps you need to start including links to those FAQs from your other content items where appropriate. Make sure it's easy for people to find this information. And that same really goes for the first part. If nobody seems to be reading your articles, take a look at what you're doing and how you're marketing it. Is it really the best content it could be? Are there changes you could make? Could you write more expansive articles? Do you need to be promoting it differently? Can you try some other tactics instead of just writing articles, interviewing people, reaching out within your community? Some of the things we talked about today. Maybe it's time to take a different approach. If what you're doing now isn't working, try different things.
Yeah, and it also depends upon your area of practice. I mean, maybe you're doing too much content. You know, that could be another thing. Maybe you're not doing the right kind of content. Generally speaking, if no one's reading it, no one's interested in it, and so you should change tactics. You know, it depends upon your practice area, and like, you know, those are great examples. Try some other things. I mean, usually what we see is it's just not good, or it's legalese, or it's just not optimized correctly.
Yeah, we have the same, you know, remember, we do content marketing ourselves. We have our own content strategy. We're always debating what new things to try.
Yeah.
So it is a good chance for you to try something new. Take a look at what is already doing well on your website. See if you can figure out what questions you're not answering. You know, you're going to have to just analyze your particular situation a little more. But don't just keep doing the same thing. Try some different tactics.
Yeah, and that's what we do, to Danielle's point. I mean, like, you know, we were just like everybody else, adding, you know, 50 to 100 pieces of content a month on our website, and, you know, 98% of it was never being seen.
Right.
So why do that? Okay, so nobody's interested in this. It's not, I won't take offense. It's just that we're not answering the questions that our clients are really interested in. We think that they know what they want, but it's too much.
Yeah, and one of the things we actually started doing was having the different departments come up with content ideas.
Yeah.
And have our writer interview people within the company about what they're experts about. And you can do this too, especially if you're in an office with multiple attorneys and all doing different things. Have them talk to the writer and have content produced that's really in-depth and really detailed. We found that we started producing much better content and actually got more traction once we really made got our different departments involved in producing the content themselves. And that's something that you can do as well.
All right, this next question comes in from Mark Carty, who asks, when it comes to the content of videos with the idea of less is more, can the length of your video impact how well it will work? Example, few longer videos with more content versus many short videos with less content.
This is another one that we've debated, how long should a video be? And in this case, I would recommend that you try different things. Try some shorter videos, try some longer videos. There really is no magic formula. You know, you're going to have to see what works in your market and for your particular practice. But do try some different things. Please don't make like a 5-10 minute long video of you droning on about something. But definitely try, you know, some short ones, maybe a minute long, and try some longer. Just see how it works.
Yeah, it depends upon the content. I mean, like, some movies are great if they're 3 hours, and some movies are great if they're an hour. Some movies are you know what I mean. You're sitting there like, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm done. You just get to that wall. And so the same is true. I've seen homepage videos and websites that just don't stop. They just don't stop, and there's 18 different calls to action in it. I mean, I think that the bottom line is, take as long as you need to get your point across, your one point across, with the story, the beginning, the middle, and the end is the call to action. Don't have multiple calls to action. Be relevant, be somewhat entertaining, do your own shtick. You know, some other things about, make sure your lighting's good, make sure your audio is good, and then just rock and roll. There's no perfect answer to that. It really just depends upon the content. What's next? That's it? Okay. So, guys, we got some resources that we're going to send out, but we have some other announcements to make. Danielle, can you show that next real quick? Okay. So we're going to give you some good and bad content examples in our resource email that we send out afterwards with the link to the webinar. Also, just some quick announcements about some things that you should be interested in. October 24th and 25th of this year, we are having our Great Legal Marketing Conference with Ben Glass and Rem Jackson that we have every year, which is where, you know, all the winners in the lawyer world come. We usually have about 300 people there, all of your peers and whatnot. So you can go check that out. Go to glmconference.com to sign up and get more information about that. Also, we will be presenting and speaking, Danielle and myself, on April 9th through 13th at Primaris, which is another legal group. Some of our clients are members of Primaris, and if you're interested in getting more information about them, check out their website. But this is the Consumer Law Institute Spring Conference in New Orleans, and we are doing an entire half day of CLE marketing courses there. So we're getting prepped up for that. And do you have anything else, Danielle?
Say that Primaris has some territories that are open, and we can send that list out afterwards. And if you're in one of those states that they have open, you can attend the conference for free. Yeah. We'll work with you on that. Okay.
Mike, anything?
I am good.
All right. So Michael Canadian, thank you very much for your help. And Danielle Ruderman, of course, thank you, Danielle, for putting together this great presentation from the great secrets, and not so much secrets, but just validation of what we've been talking about from some of the top industry leaders in the world of SEO, really. I mean, like, we had some big wigs there. So if you guys just do this stuff, you're going to be in great shape. All right, so we'll get this out. Danielle, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Michael, Connie, thanks for running. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. We'll see you next month. Take care now.